Hey guys, here's Louie. Well, on this video here, I'm going to show you how I installed the underdash wiring harness and also all this stuff that belongs on the dash. Okay, some of these things do not belong on the dash. Some of these things are on the engine bay side. Of course, the headlights on the front. Engine and light harness, that's going to be much later. But a lot of information is going to be going out. Also, the battery cables, the ones that I use, the length and everything you guys need to know. But a lot of this thing pertains to the dashboard assembly, which I am there right now. So this is the center dash trim panel. This is the retainer. Without this, you can't mount this. Okay. Radiator, radio cover. The screws to have everything bolted. The retainer and all that kind of stuff. You guys could get it. That's it right there. Okay. Glove box liner, glove box hinge. There's a whole bunch of things that need to go on the dash. Your courtesy light housing, your light switch, your dimmer switch, your wiper switch, your cigarette lighter, ignition switch, and everything else that needs to go. Okay, the bezels for the bezels for the dash knobs, ignition switch with the key. This is the glove box lock. Whole bunch of things I need to put on that dash. Ashtray, cigarette ashtray, all that kind of stuff needs to go back on the dash of Ladybird. So let me show you so far what I have put in. Okay, this is the way I do it. So the dash, let me see right there. The dash harness, this is called the under dash harness. See if I can focus there a little better. All right, you basically, I put it in through here and I fish out all the wires through here going up, as you guys can see, getting routed between these two rods that holds the steering column. Okay, and it goes up and out. I'll show you guys. There's a video of me already explaining the harness, but I'll show you guys again. Okay, this green one right here is going to be your high beam indicator. Okay, it goes right behind the cluster, the dash gauge cluster. This blue one here is gonna go for your windshield wiper switch. This one over here is gonna go up this way. This one's gonna be for the gauges. Okay, so your gauge cluster gets plugged in the back. What else? Down here is your dimmer switch plug. I still have to make the holes to mount it. And then your fuse box right there, and it takes these two screws. These screws has plastic on the threads, okay, and that's to keep it insulated. So that gets mounted there to the firewall. And like I said, this one over here, this plug, let me see right here, right there, this plug right here is for your light harness off the back, your tail light harness. So once you hook everything up, it gets hooked up right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right there. As I plug and play, you guys will see more clear how it goes. And this is your ignition switch. Plug. Okay. And one for the lighter. Where are you? She's around here somewhere. Here you go. This orange one here is for the lighter, and this yellow one is for the power of the radio. On with the switch, off with the switch. And these two here is for your backup lights, this one, and this is for your brake lights, okay? For your brake lights, look what the brake pedal is. It needs to go all the way down here and hooked up to the bracket. Okay, the bracket of the switch is right here. Okay. Then the wiring harness. The wiring harness goes all the way up. There's a hook behind the dash you are going to hook it to, okay? And this is for your heater control lights, okay? So once you plug this in behind here, your heater control will have lights, okay? And I already did the glove box light. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is it right here. This switch right here is your glove box light. There she goes right here. There goes the light bulb and everything. But yeah, so this works that once you open the door, ground comes in, boom, turns on the light, okay? And when you push it in, when you close the glove box door, she pushes this button here and it turns off the light. But there you go. I'm gonna bring all the accessories that I need for this dashboard to be assembled. All right, guys, so the first part I'm going to start with is the retainer for the center of the dash panel. Okay, a nice trim that goes in the center. This is it, and if you guys could see that, I hope you could see that, there's a lip right here, okay, like a cutout for this lip. That's going to be facing the back, okay? So it won't go in like this, that you could see those ribs right here. It'll go like this on the smooth side, and this lip facing up. Okay, so here goes the retainer. Here are my screws. This takes 3 screws here, your sheet metal screws. If you put your finger behind the dash, you could feel the tip, the pointy side of the screw. You could know that you're in the hole there. Nice and snug. Once they bite into the metal, you just want to stop. That was good. That's good right there. Now this is the center dashboard panel, okay, trim. This is really nice. This happens to be original, okay. Scott, I believe, bought this, and I donated the trim part to him because he was missing it, and I happened to have an extra one in my parts collection. And the way I glue them together, I used contact cement. So there's a lip here, okay? I hope you guys can see it. There's a lip on this trim, and that's where it gets hooked onto this. All right, she's hooked up, okay, and she takes 4 screws here. All right, these 2 in the middle, 1, 2, will be for your ashtray, and here will be from this panel to the dashboard. Okay, let me get that mounted up. All right, guys, here is the cigarette lighter bracket. Okay, and if you guys ever see this and it's hooked up to a light, okay, this is plastic. It's a plastic tubing. This option was called fabric optic. Okay, fabric optic, and it was an option. Some cars had it, some cars didn't. Really cool. So when you turn the lights on your dashboard, like your instrument cluster is lit up, this light will go on and it will illuminate light through the tubing, okay, into your dash ashtray. Okay, so you see here's the mounting holes, okay, and the set of screws that this came with is what holds it on. So it's going to be put in like this, okay, this way, sneaking underneath, right? And I want to put this light away, like that doesn't get messed up. Okay, here we go. So she's going through now. There you go. Get your screws. Alright, I got one starting. I have one starting here. Get my next one. Alright, there you go. Get your screwdriver. Tighten that down. Alright, there you go. So, ashtray bracket, it's on. We're going to be moving on now to the ignition switch. So, the ignition switch comes with a couple of things. All right. And your package, when you buy it, you are going to take out one that says, not this one, right here. It says ignition, okay? Ignition, right there. So the way that this goes is, here's your ignition switch, right? And it has a flat spot. That flat spot has to match the flat spot you have on the dash. So you're gonna put it over, right through here, this hole. And right there, I have the flat spot matching, okay? And that what keeps it in place and it holds it from spinning. Then you are going to take the one that says ignition right there, We are going to put it. It also has a flat spot, okay, that you can follow right there. All right. And then here you have your key and your cylinder, your key cylinder. All right, that goes into right over here. And you must put this in the way I'm showing you, or else you're not going to be able to get in. Trust me. All right, she won't go in. And the way you will ever remove this again is you get a paper clip, you put inside that little hole there, and you turn it to accessories, which will be your left hand side all the way, and she'll come out. All right, so this is the way she goes in. Okay, we hold it. This you spin to spin the nut. Okay, firmly. Switch is there. Now they sell a special tool that will go inside these grooves and tie it up, but I just use my hands for now, and later on I'll get a flat screwdriver. I'll put some electrical tape for it to not have the sharp edges out, because you don't want to scratch your dash if you slip. And I'll take it like this, and I get a rubber hammer and I just hit it for it to lock better. Okay, be nice and tight. So the key to lock in the cylinder, you just want to keep turning it until you feel the groove. Okay, and she will lock in. There you go. Gotta keep playing with it until you feel that she's locked. All right, guys. Well, I found out why I was having such a hard time with the ignition switch. The ignition switch that was ordered for the car is not correct. Okay, this happens to be an original one. So always make sure that this in the back matches the back with the harness. Okay, this one matches, everything matches good with this one. Okay, right there, she's gonna clip in. So we need to get a new one of this. I will let the owner know, but let's move on with the video. So ignition switch has a flat spot right there. It's a flat spot right here on the dash. You're gonna put it over. There you go. She's over. You are going to put this first that says ignition. Okay. Now, what I was trying to tell you guys on the first time I attempted this is that the lock nut, the key cylinder needs to go through, okay? Needs to go through because it's the only way it gets mounted, just like this. And if you ever need to take this off, I'm gonna show you. So what you do is you hold the back and put in your ignition switch here. You can start screwing the ignition nut trim piece here. Then you turn the key. Backing off the nut. There you go. So clicked in. Now you turn your nut to lock everything down. That's the start position. When she starts, that's the off position. And that's accessories, okay? Now, if you ever need to remove this, you need to put the key to the accessory part, which is that way. And there's a little hole. Let me see if I could get you guys closer. I'm guessing that's good. So when you put the key to the accessory side, which is all the way to your left, and you see that little hole right there, you'll put a paper clip. Once you feel a spring action, you push it in. She'll go a little bit further to the left, and then you could pop this out. But yeah, that was giving me a lot of trouble because it's the wrong one. There you go. In the middle off, key comes out. Okay. And then the plug is back here. All right. And you'll plug it in to the key. Ignition key switch. You'll plug it in. She's good to go. And now we are going to move to the cigarette lighter. Okay, cigarette lighter. You want to get your bezel that says cigarette lighter, and she's going to go right there. The way you do this is this one goes through the bezel, okay? So it's gonna be looking like this. All right. And then this is the locking nut that goes behind and screws. You see these grooves right here? It screws right into that. And in between these two is going to be the metal of the dash. And that's how she grounds, okay? Here's a positive side. And I showed you guys the wire to that. Wire's back here. It's an orange wire with a round Let me see. I know I showed it in the beginning of the video. Like I said, there's a lot of videos too that I have the harness took all apart. Let me unplug this. I hope you guys could see that. I don't know, but it's an orange wire with let me see. Orange wire with a round little plug like that, okay? That's it right there. And she gets hooked up like this. Okay, right behind that. So, and that's 12 volts all the time. So she's hot all the time. All right. So you'll put this over. Okay. Get your locking nut here. Put it through. And it just spins until she catches. There you go. Gotta get this nice and tight for the ground to work good. All right. Wow, nothing being plugged, especially the battery. There's not a battery in this car yet. She has grooves that I hold the housing, and it makes it not want to move to let me go and really get her nice and tight. Yeah. There you go. I still got ways to go to make her tight, but there you go. All right, and here is the lighter itself. The way this works is you push her in, and when she had reached her cycle of heat, she pops out, okay? See? Has a spring action, and she pops out. So we got a cigarette lighter now. Back in 1968, if you was a smoker, you're going to use this, but nowadays we don't use it anymore. And 9 out of 10, what we're going to put in this socket is going to be a cell phone charger. All right, so we have the ignition switch, cigarette lighter on, center bezel trim, center dashboard trim on. My heater defroster unit is already put in. Cigarette lighter, ashtray bracket in. Let me get the lights side of things, the wiper side of things, and let's keep on plugging away. All right, guys, next is the windshield wiper switch. Okay, I want to explain something to you guys about the windshield wiper switch. All right, this is it. All right, I happen to have original ones, okay, and this is how it goes. All right, so you put it through the dash. Once she's on through the dash, this star washer, okay, this one happens to be original. The star washer goes through. Remember, once she's through the dash, star washer goes first, okay? And then this retainer goes. Now, this retainer happens to be really interesting and really special. And I'm going to tell you why. Because not for the life of myself, and I'm pretty good when it comes to researching parts and all that stuff. And finding parts, I cannot find this retainer. Okay, Camaro has one that looks similar, but it has notches cut out here and here, so it won't be correct for Firebird. I mean, if you guys don't mind, it might work. I'm not saying it will work, but it might work because they look the same for Camaro. I believe 67 used the same switch. But for Firebird, this barrel here, this retainer barrel, you cannot find it for Firebird. Nobody makes it aftermarket. I couldn't find it. So if you guys find one, please let me know. And if you guys have an original set, hit me up. Send me something on the comments and like an email or something. I'll return back to you. I'll be interested in buying it off from you guys. And then the lock nut retainer goes here, okay, and locks everything down. All right, and then you turn it, lock it up, you put your button that says washer, okay, on it, and you're golden. All right, this will happen to go on once you put it through. The bezel will go on first, and it has a slot. I don't know if you guys can see, but it has a flat spot, and it's right there how she'll go through. Okay, so let's do that. And she goes here at the bottom. On the top will be for the lights, the light switch. So this plug right here will be for your windshield wiper switch / your wash pump. So the switch also has a push in motion. Once you push it in, your windshield will be sprayed with washing fluid. She only gets plugged in one way, so you cannot get this wrong. Okay, so I'm plugging her in, putting her through the dashboard. Okay, okay. Next will be the bezel. Goes the bezel. Then your star washer that I told you guys about. This one happens to be an original one. Scott, the owner of Ladybird, did order a new one. So once it comes here, once it arrives here to the garage, I'll take out my original one. I'll put his new one. Then goes this retainer barrel. Like I said, I can't find this. And then comes the retainer lock nut. Okay, you see these grooves here is a cutout. And this could be tricky, putting in that barrel retainer if you don't have the special tools. I don't. What I use is needle nose pliers to just spin it in. I might bring you guys up closer here so you could have a visual to see exactly how it looks. Like I said, if you don't have the special tools, she's a pain in the butt. But we will get it. All right, guys, here's the wiper switch. Okay, here's the needle nose, and what you need to do is get this retainer nut just like that into the grooves and spin it. Okay, once you spin it, should be nice and tight. Here goes the button here, the knob. And if you saw that, if I wanted my windows, my windshield glass to be sprayed, you push it in, okay? Now, it has two positions, okay? Two speeds, the windshield wipers. 1 and 2, okay? And to push in. So there goes the windshield wiper switch. Next will be the light switch. All right, next is the light switch, which is right here, okay? And you are going to need the light switch, the locking nut, okay? And the pull handle. For you guys that don't know, here's the light switch, right? She goes in. There's a hole here, a triangle, to follow the shaft of the pull switch. And there, she's locked. Okay, you pull one time, your park lights will go on, and your low beams. No, sorry, park lights, and then headlights, the second one, okay? Now, you want to take this out. Let's say she's mounted and you need to remove this to replace it or do a repair. Okay, she's going to go in the car like this, okay? So you need to have access to this button. There's enough room there to push down on this spring action button. And when you press this in, okay, you got one click, and it could be tough. Sometimes they won't come out that easy, but she will come out by pressing this spring. Give it one click, push the spring, and she comes out, okay? So all the way in, locked. Pull it up once, pull it out once, push the spring button in, and she comes out, okay? That's the way you get to remove your switch. Now, here's the plug for the light, okay? Here's the plug for the light. All right, I had to do repairs to this plug, this orange wire here. Somebody cut it and spliced it in another way for they could get electricity coming in. But I put it correctly, and I also did it with the correct gauge and color to match the wiring schematics. That if the owner of Lady Bird ever runs into a problem, he could get a wiring diagram, okay, and follow it. And everything matches. So, gonna plug it in, okay? There she goes. All right. She has this little tab here sticking out that the dashboard has some cutouts. And that's how you will lock her in and position to give her that position you need. Okay. Then the bezel of the lights. What you'll do is your lock retainer, you'll put it through the bezel, okay? Hope you guys can see that like that. And then start screwing her in. Let me get her in, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, guys, so there you go. Here's the light switch, okay? And I want to explain something to you guys. So this bezel here has a notch cut out, just like the light switch has that little stud that comes out, all right, little tab. Because on your dashboard, you're going to have open, it's going to be some cutouts that are open, and that's to position your light switch the correct way. And the correct way is that the button of the light switch should be facing this way, okay? That button I told you need to squeeze, and there's only two ways you could get to that button, either removing your gauge cluster or going underneath this way, okay? And because it follows the notch, the bezel, and the light switch that it has, it locks everything into place. And this one is not hard. This one I just used this little tool right here. Is a little wrench that usually a grinder will come, like a die grinder, and it's wide enough just to turn it and lock it. And here's the pull out knob, and you're just gonna follow it until she goes in. There you go. It's not catching yet. Ah, there you go. One pull. There you go. You got 1, 2. And guys, if you forget to push this in when you're getting out your car and you have your lights on, you're gonna come back to a dead battery. Because these cars are not like the new cars that you will hear a sound when you forgot to turn off your headlights. All right, this one, she's going to die on you. But there you go. So far, so good. Looking good. I'm going to be moving now to the glove box light. No, not the glove box light. I already showed you guys that. The glove box liner and door. The only thing I did not go through, I'm going to go through it right now. Okay, the resistor, the heater, the motor blower resistor is that wire right there, yellow, blue, and orange. The long harness, so the long side of these colors you see here is for your resistor. The shorter one is for the inside of the heater control, okay? So the shorter one with the same color that I just showed you goes behind this. Let me get everything for the glove box and I'll be right back. All right, guys, before I put the glove box liner in, I want to let you know that if your car came with a console, it should have this ducting here, okay? So I had to remove the ducting from the heater box. It gets mounted right there. I'll put it back right after I finish the glove box liner. But this harness here is called your courtesy lights, okay? You have a courtesy light that gets mounted here, right there, for the passenger side, and one that gets mounted down there for the driver's side. On the driver's side, and if you see the one with this plug right there, it goes to the driver's side, okay? And the one that doesn't have a plug, it just has a wiring harness pigtail for your door jamb switch, okay? And like right there, that light bulb is for the courtesy lights. That's for the passenger side. This is the original one to the car, and I just had to make this repair on it, okay? So let me put that in, and the way you'll go in will be through the driver's side, up around the dash on the inside part, coming down. All right, and it should have these hooks. It should have these hooks on it for you could hook it to the dash. I'm going to do that, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, guys, so here's the courtesy light harness. Okay, it's a hook right over there that you hook it, goes back around all the way on top of the dash. There goes the clip, and it goes all the way over the wire. Okay, and it comes down, and here goes the other side of it, and here goes for the light bulb of the courtesy light. I'll put the courtesy light at the ending of the video for you guys to see the location and how they look, the housing. So here's the glove box liner. I know this is a long video, but it was gonna help a lot of people with their project. And if you have the ducting here that console cars came with, you're not gonna be able to put this in. So she gets sneaked in through here, and this box came with those kind of J-nuts, but it didn't come with J-nuts for the bottom. Okay, and I had to find some. I still need one more. It's taking me time to find it, but I believe this was ordered from Ames. It's a couple of things that was ordered from Ames, and I'm kind of upset because just not working out for me. And I don't think it's fair after, you know, spending the money for it. But let me find another J-nut. And what you do with the liner is you sneak it in through here. Okay. And you get these screws that are correct for the liner, the glove box liner. And you just screw them into place. Okay. I'm going to go do that right now. All right, guys. So I have the head liner. I put the latch for the glove box door. Okay, there's the screws, and like I said, the J-nuts that the screws are gonna go in comes with the liners. This one did not come with the bottom J-nuts. I had to put them on. There goes a bumper here for the door when it's going to close, another bumper right here, and there is another bumper on the door right there. You have to remove that bumper first, slide this part right here in this slot, then you put your hands through here to slide in the bumper. Okay, and there's 3 screws that I need to put in now for the glove box door. I'll bring you guys right back once I'm done. All right, guys, there you have it. Glove box door installed, liner, glove box liner, glove box latch right here, and now this is the glove box lock with cylinder. Okay, and the way she goes is this way with the hook facing up. This little screw here, you need to remove it. Okay, trying to do all this with one hand. Give me 1 second. So when you remove this screw, okay, that little screw right there, you are going to put the cylinder through, and that little screw goes right there in that hole. I hope you guys can see it. There you go. Okay, let me do that. I'll bring you guys back. We're getting close to finish this video. All right, guys, so there you have it. Lock is put on now for the glove box, and this one you twist. Let me see if it's like that, and there you go, you push it in. Okay, and she comes down. Now this latch, if it gives you problems, it comes from the seller pointing up. You just need to pry it down a little bit, and I suggest you pry it down off the dash. Okay, so do it like on your bench. I took it to the vise and clamped it down, just bend it a little bit. Okay, then you go, boom. if she's not locked, see, she's locked there. But if she's not locked, if you don't want to lock it, you twist it, you push the button in, and she will open for you, okay? And now for the last touch, the little glove box door bird that I love so much, the first gen bird. This happens to be an original one. You see that barrel? It's original. That's the locking barrel. Boom. There goes the little first gen wings down bird that Firebird Fest needs to be putting on the commercial. Because if it wasn't for the wings down bird, there wouldn't be no bird. Well, guys, the last thing will be the instrument cluster. I'll bring you guys right back. All right, guys, I'm up to the part now of putting the gauge cluster in. I don't have all the screws for it. It will need to be ordered, but for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to put her in with 2 screws, okay? And this is the wiring pigtail that goes behind the cluster. All right behind here. Always make sure you plug it in the right way. So number 1 is facing up, okay? And this little housing, let me see if you guys can see that. I'm not sure. This is for your indicators that you have your high beams on. And there's this little green wire right here. All right. I won't be plugging it in this time around, but that's the way it goes, okay? And your steering column needs to come down. Okay. Have it here. There you go. She's hooked up. And my high beam indicator, once I go in, she comes up to here. There you go. She clips in right in the back. Right there. And there she goes. Like I said, I don't have all the screws. But I'm going to put in what I have right now. Just to hold it in place until I get the screws. Okay, have one there. And I'm gonna put one on this corner here. I'm still missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down here, I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me put this back and I'll show you guys everything else. Guys, I did a mistake in the beginning of the video, and the ashtray goes like this. Now this fiber optic light, remember, she's gonna go behind the instrument cluster. All right, that's behind. the instrument cluster, that's where she goes. And the ashtray actually goes in like this. There's the ashtray bracket. Made a mistake and I'm correcting it. That's the way she goes. She actually gets mounted with 3 screws, okay? 1, 2, and 3 in the middle. The one in the middle is a really tiny screw. All right, there you go. There goes the ashtray, beautiful. Well, I just wanted to correct myself. Okay, that's the way you put it on. The fabric option goes through here, and you got to pick out one of the light bulbs from the back of the cluster out, and you put that one in, and when you turn on your lights, trust me, you'll see a little glow in the ashtray. Okay, let me show you guys the courtesy lights. There goes one courtesy light. There goes the screw right there. That's the correct spot. And there's another one right over here. Okay, and there goes the screw for that. Also, I don't know where I put my flashlight right now, and I apologize. But also, brake light switch. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but the brake light switch, I did put it on. She's right here. Okay, brake light switch. And if you guys have power brake car, you need to have the bracket. I showed the bracket before on other videos. Let me push this back, and there's a little silver bracket you see right there. That's it. Okay, see how she pushes in the brake switch right there. Look at that. And if you don't have that bracket, it's going to be too long of a throw, and you cannot turn off the brake lights. Okay, well guys, I know it was a long video. I just hope that this will help a whole bunch of people out there. And don't that look awesome, huh? The whole dashboard put back together again. Check that out. That looks awesome. Well, this is what hard work will get you. And also, like I always say, if you keep your hands dirty, your project will definitely move forward. Okay? And I'm going to get ready to paint a whole bunch of parts that I need to paint before Jonathan gets here, so we could assemble the front of the car and also get this bird moving under his own power. I hope you enjoy this video. I know it's a long one, but it's a real good detail one. Well guys, like I always say, take care, keep your hands dirty, and your project will move forward.